Welcome to the Dick Dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're tackling something pretty huge. The idea that AI agents might completely reshape how companies are structured, how work actually gets done.
Yeah, it's a fascinating prospect, and we've got some solid grounding for this discussion, right? That Microsoft report.
Exactly. Microsoft's 2025 Work Trend Index, huge survey, 31,000 people, 31 countries. And what really caught my eye was this concept. They identified frontier companies, places where AI is already, well, deeply involved.
Right, not just dabbling.
Not just dabbling. And it makes you wonder, that traditional org chart, finance, marketing, engineering, does that structure even make sense anymore if AI agents are taking on big chunks of work?
That's the core question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that Microsoft report gives us a real peek into how this might unfold. So these frontier companies, what exactly defines them according to the report? It's more than just using a few AI tools, I gather.
Oh, absolutely. So a frontier company, as they define it, isn't just, using AI for spell check. Here, AI agents are actually driving core business workflows significantly. They're acting like members of the teams.
Individual parts, yeah, not just peripheral tools.
Exactly. And it's not a tiny group either. They found 844 respondents working in companies like this.
Okay, so it's a measurable phenomenon already.
Definitely. And what's really striking is the attitude. Employees in these companies, overwhelmingly optimistic about AI driving rapid growth.
That's interesting. So less fear, more seeing it as an opportunity.
Seems that way, yeah. They're already living with advanced AI integration, and they see the potential.
Which suggests that integration is pretty deep. It's not just automating isolated tasks. It sounds more like real collaboration.
That's what the report highlights. This shift, AI moving beyond being just a simple assistant.
To becoming a flexible team member, working alongside humans.
Precisely. It's a move towards more dynamic, interwoven roles, and apparently some companies are already changing their structures.
Actively restructuring to encourage that human-AI teamwork.
Yeah, building the organization around this new reality.
Okay, so let's make this concrete.
Yeah.
The report must have some examples, right, of companies actually doing this.
It does, and they're pretty compelling. Take Bayer. They're using AI agents in product development.
Okay, and the impact.
They're saving about 6 hours per employee per week.
6 hours, wow, that's significant time freed up.
It really is. Then you've got Dow Chemical. They're using AI in delivery operations.
Logistics, okay.
And they're expecting savings in the millions.
Millions, okay, that gets attention.
Definitely.
Oh.
But maybe the most relatable one is Wells Fargo.
Banking, customer service.
Exactly. Over 4,000 branches using AI agents for customer service tasks. And get this, the time it takes staff to find information. It went from about 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
Down to 30 seconds.
10 minutes to 30 seconds.
30 seconds? That's not just faster. It fundamentally changes the interaction, right?
Absolutely. That's a transformation, not just an improvement.
Yeah.
So these frontier companies are already showing the way.
Yeah, they're kind of living in the future the report talks about. And it seems like this is only accelerating.
That makes sense. The examples show real value. So what does the report say about broader adoption? Is this spreading fast?
It seems so. Nearly half, 46% of the leaders they surveyed said their companies are fully automating some work processes using these agents already.
Almost half. That's substantial.
And they expect a big expansion, particularly in areas like customer service, marketing, product development.
The areas we just saw examples from.
Right. And they see this surge happening within the next, say, 12 to 18 months.
So very near term. This isn't some 5-year forecast.
No, it's happening now and scaling up quickly.
Which brings us to this idea of Microsoft floated the agent boss. Sounds a bit sci-fi.
It does, but it's maybe not what you think. It's less about a robot manager.
Okay, good.
And more about a new kind of personal leadership. The idea is that individual employees start acting more like a CEO for their own work.
A CEO of their own workflow. How does that work?
You'd be delegating tasks to your own set of AI agents, managing their output, directing them, like a CEO manages teams, but on a personal scale.
So you become an orchestrator of AI rather than just a doer of tasks?
That seems to be the idea. You're managing your AI resources to get your job done.
Which raises questions about, autonomy, accountability. How do you measure performance in that model?
That's a great question. Does your performance review now include how well you manage your agents? It's a whole new way of thinking about roles.
It really is. And if individuals are operating like this, managing their own agent-based workflows,
Hmm.
Well, that has to impact the broader organizational structure, doesn't it?
You'd think so. That traditional structure based on function finance does finance, marketing does marketing.
Right, the silos.
Those might become less relevant, maybe less rigid.
The report suggests moving towards structures based more on goals or
Oh,
projects.
exactly. You assemble teams, humans, and AI agents dynamically to tackle specific goals or projects. Then maybe they dissolve and reform for the next thing.
Much more fluid. And you mentioned metrics earlier.
Yeah, the report hints we might need new metrics.
Right.
Instead of just headcount, maybe something like a human agent ratio.
The human agent ratio, trying to find the optimal mix for a given task or project.
Kind of like that, yeah. How do you balance the human input and the AI work for maximum effectiveness? It changes how you even define a team.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
This obviously has huge implications for jobs,
Mhm.
especially, well, IT comes to mind immediately.
Right, and the report does touch on other research. One survey suggested, I think, 92% of IT jobs could be transformed.
92%, wow.
And there were concerns too. About 74% of IT pros worried their skills might become obsolete.
That's understandable fear, given the pace of change.
But there's another side to it. You look at data from LinkedIn, for instance.
Okay, what are they saying?
Much higher hiring rates for AI startups. And leaders, 78% of them say they are reorganizing around AI. They're actively looking for people with AI skills.
So not just eliminating roles, but shifting needs, creating new roles.
Seems like it. The report mentions specific roles seeing demand. AI trainers.
Teaching the AI.
Yeah. And agent developers, the people building these AI agents, plus data analysis experts, of course.
Okay, so it's a transformation, but potentially one with new opportunities for those who adapt.
That seems to be the picture emerging. It's less about jobs disappearing entirely, maybe, and more about the skills needed changing drastically.
Which really highlights the need for learning, continuous learning. This idea of AI literacy becomes crucial.
What do they mean by that exactly? AI literacy.
They're just, having a solid understanding of what AI can do, what its limits are, and critically, how to decide what work to delegate to it effectively.
So it's not just about being able to code the AI, but knowing how to work with it intelligently.
Precisely. And alongside that, the report stresses that uniquely human skills become even more valuable.
Because the AI handles the routine stuff.
Right. So things like conflict resolution, adaptability, genuine creative and innovative thinking. AI isn't there yet. Those become premium skills.
Makes sense. You automate the predictable, and the human value shifts to the unpredictable, the complex, the interpersonal.
Exactly. And managing all this AI, it's not just a technical challenge.
No, it seems like a management and organizational one, too. The report even floats the idea of needing, dedicated departments just for managing AI agents.
Like HR, but for AI.
Kind of, an AI resource management function. And interestingly, they suggest maybe business departments should lead this, not just IT.
Signaling that AI's impact is core business strategy, not just a tech infrastructure issue.
That's how I read it, too. It's about fundamentally changing the organizational framework, not just plugging in some new software.
Yeah, the takeaway really seems to be that this goes way beyond just productivity boosts. We're looking at a potentially fundamental shift in how organizations are built and operate.
Driven by these increasingly capable AI agents becoming part of the workforce, the old structures, the old roles,
Yeah.
they might just evolve significantly.
Paving the way for these more dynamic, goal-focused teams where humans and AI work together.
It's a profound change. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, the question lingers, doesn't it, for you listening?
Yeah, how do you see your own role changing in this coming agent boss era?
And how might your organization adapt? Or how should it adapt to navigate this evolving relationship between people and AI at work?
Definitely something to think about. The future of work is certainly looking different.